Harry's Wife, Part 104.65. Photoshop Fraud? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Narcissists manipulate. That is a given. We manipulate in a benign way, and we manipulate in a malign way. Simply put, when a narcissist engages with another human being or contemplates doing so, a manipulation must take place, because in essence, our interactions with you are not born out of emotional empathy. They're not born out of being altruistic or bona fides. They're based out of what can we get out of it for us, namely the prime aims. And therefore, friendship doesn't exist for the sake of the friendship. Opening a door isn't done because we're inherently polite and courteous. Listening to you cry about the fact that your husband has just melted all of your candles by mistake that you've carefully collected over the last 12 years isn't done because we're excellent listeners. It perhaps is done for the purpose of the facade and the fact that it enables us to assert control over you. Whatever the narcissist does with regard to somebody else is a form of manipulation designed to assert control over that individual, draw fuel from them, and of course, in other instances also, acquire character traits and residual benefits. And therefore, whether we're treating you well or whether we're treating you nastily, there is a manipulation taking place. There has to be, because the nature of the interaction between us and you isn't one which is what you think it is. There's something else altogether going on. As part of these manipulations, narcissists manipulate by telling lies, or twisting the truth, or sometimes telling you the truth, but using it against you. We have a range of different manipulations, ranging from triangulation with an object, triangulation with an event, triangulation with a person, present silent treatments, absent silent treatments, circular conversations, physical violence, sexual violence, the ignition and demonstration of fury, whether it's heated or cold, the destruction of property, false accusations, gaslighting, the revision of history. On they go. These manipulations will embody telling you one thing and doing another, inventing what has taken place, telling you that something else happened when it actually did not. It can also mean the fabrication of documents. It can mean the deletion of information. It can mean the altering of information, which of course includes tampering with pictures and documents. People.com is one of the supine publications that pumps out the PR puff pieces on behalf of Harry and Harry's wife. Just recently, an article by Stephanie Petit proclaimed, Harry's wife and Prince Harry share poignant photo to mark Remembrance Day and Veterans Day, both of which, of course, have just recently taken place. And there is a photograph which purports to show them at a venue whilst they stand and acknowledge the relevant members of the armed forces at a commemoration event. The article tells us, Harry's wife and Prince Harry are honouring service personnel on Remembrance Day and Veterans Day. In a new post on their Archwell Foundation website on Friday, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex shared a photo by Chris Allerton, their wedding photographer. In the black and white snap, the couple faces military personnel, including one holding an American flag. On this Veterans Day and Remembrance Day, we honour service members across the world, they wrote. Assertion of control, management of the facade. These brave men and women, as well as their families, have made tremendous sacrifices and embody duty and service. Utilisation of the truth for the purpose of assertion of control and drawing fuel. Harry's wife, 41, and Prince Harry, 38, continued, We are proud to work with so many organisations that support veterans and military families, including the Invictus Games Foundation, The Mission Continues, Team Rubicon, Scotty's Little Soldiers, and the Greatest Generations Foundation. Today and every day, thank you for your service. Now, of course, rather than just thanking them for their service, mention has to be made of what they do. You might think, well, that's fair enough, actually. They are involved in these organisations. There's nothing wrong with saying as such. Depends which side of the line that you would go on. But understand the point of their mention, from the perspective of Harry's wife, although she doesn't realise this, is nothing to do with just mentioning it. It is to triangulate individuals with this, to manage the facade and to draw fuel by their reactions. The article continues, last year, Harry's wife and Prince Harry made a surprise visit to a New Jersey military base to mark Veterans Day. At a luncheon for service members and their spouses at the joint base McGuire-Dix-Lakehurst, Harry's wife and Harry discussed topics like mental health and the importance of community. Their stop in New Jersey came one day after attending the 2021 Salute to Freedom Gala at the Intrepid Museum in New York City, which, you'll recall, was the appearance of overripe burst tomato lady. In prepared remarks at the gala, Prince Harry discussed the isolation service members often feel when returning home and stressed the importance of supporting veterans. My experience in the military made me who I am today, and I'll always be grateful for the people I got to serve with, wherever in the world we were, said Harry, who served a decade in the British Army and undertook 2 tours in Afghanistan. But in war you see and experience things you hope no one else has to. These stay with us, sometimes like a slideshow of images. Harry said that he created the Invictus Games to honour the legacy of those who have given so much, as well to show that the men and women who have experienced service injuries, as well as their families, are the strongest people in the world, and they deserve a platform to be seen, a platform to be recognised, and a platform to be truly celebrated. He then went on to welcome the 2021 Intrepid Valor Award honorees, who he said are part of an everlasting bond. We are part of the team of teams, and we'll always have your backs. You are not alone. Now, Harry does all of this, of course, because he has emotional empathy for those affected, and it resonates with him as a consequence of his own military service. Harry's wife, of course, believes she does it because she thinks it's the right thing to do. But, of course, as a narcissist, she's driven by her narcissism to engage in this for the purpose of the assertion of control and releasing the statement and the photograph. Well, so far, so facade management. But there's trouble at mill. Yes. According to the well-reasoned posters over at the Reddit thread, St. Harry's wife, and they use her real name, as you know I don't, a post by Meghan NYC states, "Hold up, didn't they wear the same clothes at Invictus the first day they arrived? Is Megsy photoshopping again?" And the relevant Redditor puts up the picture that has been taken purportedly by Chris Allerton for honouring service personnel. And it would appear that there's some eagle-eyed activity going on. Crinkle Cut Cat Oz writes, "They made it black and white, so it wasn't obvious. The people on the left of the photo are actually from the Invictus Games. The lady second to the left of Harry was wearing a bright red jacket. Plus, there's no way Harry would not be wearing a tie at a proper military service. The wording is so carefully not stating what particular service this is supposed to be." And indeed, it is short on detail as to what it is and how it's taking place. And therefore, it may well be the case that there is the use of a photograph from the Invictus Games that's been altered to make it look like they're turning up to honour the military personnel. Now, these are the observations from the Redditors, but there does appear to be some force in this. Fruity Pebblers adds, "I just read it all again, and you're spot on in how carefully crafted the wording is. Divorce Watch Timer." Abby0307, "This is obviously not a photo in real time. It's certainly not in California, since the trees and the coats proclaim that it's somewhere where they have winter. They're either photoshopped in, or the picture is very old." So, as one can observe in the picture, the trees don't have any leaves on and people are wearing coats. And that would suggest, therefore, that, as that Redditor observed, that winter's taking place. And so either it's not from California, or in terms of a recent photograph from somewhere else, or it's an old one that's being used. But either way, that the photograph is not what it purports to be. Economy Alpha offers also, he's not wearing a poppy either. There's absolutely no way he's going to go to any remembrance without a poppy. It's absolute drummed into the Brits along with our ABCs. The original Redditor poster states, this is from Invictus from April. Pete Buttigieg is in the photo as well as the other Americans that went as part of the delegation. Are they trying to make it look like they went somewhere together? Cine Toasty, whoa, you're kidding. They used an Invictus photo for Vedettes Day. Wow, no sarcasm. You're right, something is weird. Could it be? No way. Too good to be true. Sammy Piggy, yes, that's what I thought. She's wearing that same white pantsuit. Professional Link 96 writes, yes, it is, and yes, they are. They have not had a single public appearance together since returning from the funeral. The only time they've been spotted in the same place at all was the weird JJ concert where they arrived separately. Harry's wife arriving an hour before Harry, and the photos just showed him chatting with another woman while Harry's wife poured at him. That is literally the only time they've ever been confirmed to be in the same place, and it sure looked like Harry's wife crashed Harry's night out. So she makes this post with the photo because she knows they need to do something for Remembrance Day, but they actually went out of their way to not go out together. Harry's wife had the perfect chance to get both herself in the news and show how she and Harry are indeed still together by doing something like laying a wreath, like they did before, but it didn't happen. I cannot imagine her willingly declining the chance to be seen and photographed. It didn't happen because Harry didn't want to do it. He doesn't even want to pretend in public with her at this point. I really think the public split is coming soon. Reference is made to somebody else posting and then saying that it's a fake photo taken from Invictus and photoshopped. So if this is correct, that it would appear that there was no attendance at this event and it's been used from the Invictus Games and altered to make it look like they've turned up at some unknown event or not described event to commemorate and honour Remembrance Day and Veterans Day. Of course, as I mentioned, it is not beyond the wit of a narcissist to engage in such chicanery for the purposes of the revision of history and the assertion of control. Furthermore, of course, if, as people suspect, that there is trouble at mill at Monty Shit Show and that there is some form of split going on, that this is an attempt to paper over that by managing an outward facade that they are still together, trying to keep hidden from the public at least that, in fact, they are not together. Accordingly, I'll leave it for you to make a determination as to what you believe as to whether this photograph is photoshopped. It's merely suffice to say that a narcissist would engage in such behaviour in order to manage the facade, assert control and draw fuel by, in effect, revising history in this way. And, given the rumours that are swirling around the gruesome twosome, it would also fit the narrative, to utilise one of Harry's wife's words, to do so in order to maintain outward appearances, given that all is not well on the domestic front. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.